All right, I've got my stuff cleaned up here, 1520 and 1084, that's alternating, but I've got some of it offset, as you can see from the colors. Some of the 1520 is one side, 1084 on the other. It's because I want different color and contrast on one side of the pattern. And you'll see as we go along, first I'm going to do is forge weld these together. I'm going to turn it sideways and then make it bow. Then I'll cut it up, restack it, and then we'll make W's, because I'll forge weld them together, press them down. I'll do that a few times, maybe 2 or 3, till I get the layer count and the look I want in the pattern. And we'll be manipulating it some there, and I'll show as I go along. And I've got another stack here. This is 15 and 20, 1095 with a piece of 1084 right here, a 1/4 inch piece. And you can see it's alternating similarly to that one. Not quite the same, but close. This is going to be the core of this billet when we get to that point, because I'm going to be making a serpent pattern in the center of the billet, and it should weave through the pattern, through the billet, like a snake. I've made this before. If you watch the Viking challenge, I made it. This time I'm doing a little different, because I'm going to have this billet will be twisted and hopefully have a unique look to it. We'll see. I'm not going to make W's with it. Maybe I should, but I'm going to twist it. I think that'll look pretty cool. But right now we're going to get these things tack welded together, put handles on them, get them ready to go in the forge. Thought I'd pull this back out of here so I could explain to you what I'm doing. I just got everything seal welded up, and I went over and cleaned it up on the 2x72. You know, got it good and flat everywhere, because I don't want any chances of cold shuts in these layers when I turn around and forge it this way, with the layers running this way. I don't want cold shuts in there. So I cleaned it up, and I came in here and cleaned up that weld I did across the center. And I know my weld machine is going crazy over there, but I will clean this up a little more once I do the initial forge weld. I will cut the rest of this off of here. It's just temporary to hold that, because when you heat it up, it's going to want to spread apart right here, and that can cause you problems. But I'm putting it in this kerosene here. In theory, it creates a carbon soot layer in between each of your steel layers to help with the forge weld and prevent scaling. Now, whether it does or not, I don't know, but I've been doing it over 10 years that way. Before that, I would just flux it and stick it in there. Now, a lot of people are just dry forge welding now. Like I was telling you earlier, I like to minimize the risk, and for me, this is what it does. I do clean work, clean as I can, to minimize any kind of problems. Takes me longer, but I don't have to come back, fix problems, or abandon them because I've got issues. Not as much anyway. I'm gonna do the other one, get it in here, then we're gonna fire up old Bertha over there. Oh, correction. I think I said kerosene. I use kerosene at times, but this is my actual quench oil. It's just Parks 50. All right, so I'm getting ready to stick them in the forge, pull them out this oil. But I figured I'd stop, explain a couple things here. Now, if you're going to flux, a lot of people take it right from here to the forge, and I do sometimes. It depends on how I feel at the moment. But if you're going to flux it right here while it's cold. I just sprinkle a little bit because all the sides are exposed, and I just put a little on there. It just dusts it a little bit. Now, again, you can build this billet, go straight into the forge, and get a successful forge weld. People do it all the time. And like I said, I just eliminate some risks. Now, if you put it in the forge and then you want to heat it up and then flux it, do it while it's in the forge. When you pull it out, you're risking scaling right then. And I learned this from one of my mentors, Steve Schwarzer, who was witnessing me do that very thing and stopped me, and he forged me a flux spoon. This is it right here. And it's used to put flux on the billet while it's in the forge, heating up. So when you pull it out, you're risking scaling, which is where a lot of problems probably happen. And I'll put a video here of Steve forging that for me, but he taught me that, and it made a whole lot of sense as soon as he explained it to me. He's like, duh, because if you get this thing red, you're probably gonna scale when you pull it out. And if you got exposed layers in there, you got scale trapped in there, I don't care how much fluxing you do, you're probably not gonna get it all. Just a little tip, we're gonna get her in the forge. I'm gonna push these down, I'm gonna draw it out, cut it up, restack to create our W's, and I may do that a couple times. The other billet, I'm just going to forge it flat and restack it, and then we'll twist it. So now what I'm going to do is get them up here, stack them, weld them, or tack them up, stick them back in the forge, draw them out to make our W's. Then I'm going to draw this out into a square, the one with just the flat layers, and then I'm going to twist it real tight. And I'll explain what I'm trying to achieve here in a few minutes. But I won't take you through the whole steps of that stuff because it's the same thing. Forge weld, draw it out. I may show you the twist though. Hold up, got to pivot a little bit. So in between working on these billets, I've got them in the oil, they're tacked up, ready to forge out. Well, I had a little forging job we're doing for my other channel, my outdoor channel. It's not a lot of forging, but just a little, enough. And started doing the forging, got pretty much all the work done, except for some smaller stuff. And then it happened. I mean, I didn't break the forge, I didn't break a hammer, the anvil didn't break, but my finger broke. Let me tell you. I was straightening up some 5/8, close to 3/4 inch, a little bit bigger than 5/8, cold roll bar. After it was forged, it had a little bend and got these links together. I'll show a clip right here for you. And I was straightening them up, and my finger got in between one of the, somewhere under one of those loops. And I was using a big cross peen hammer and didn't have any gloves on, which I should have. And I broke it. And let me tell you, my son fixed it up for me. He's a EMT with the fire department and all that stuff, or first responder, whatever you call those guys, and fixed me up. But the end of my finger is shattered pretty bad. I mean, there's nothing really they can do for it. They're going to do the same thing to it, but it was excruciating for a little bit there, let me tell you. So besides that happening, we was able to finish that little project about an hour later. And so what I'm going to do, I really can't hold my billets at the moment. It's going to give me a few days to get it back. So I'm going to pick back up on the next video to finish out this mosaic and try to get this billet done, start on some folders. So I really hate that. I wanted to get at least the W's done for you and all, but I hope you understand. Don't do this. It was stupid, very stupid, like one of my patrons said just a few minutes ago. But thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.